On average, it now takes 12 years to save for a house, as opposed to 6 back in the 1990s. And every week in Parliament, we hear more of the same from our leaders. There's a housing crisis in Australia. Wow, you think? Everyone in the country is aware of and affected by this issue, but what are our politicians actually doing about it? And is there light at the end of the tunnel? These days, the biggest roadblock to solving the housing crisis seems to be our politicians themselves. However well-intentioned they are, they can't seem to agree on how to tackle it, and certainly don't seem keen on the idea of working together. And when you look at the plans from the Labor government and the Coalition, this is fairly ironic given how similar they are. Unveiled in October last year, the Coalition's plan consists of a proposed $5 billion in infrastructure development through a combination of grants and loans, and has been labelled almost identical to work the government was doing, with the only apparent difference being the fast-tracking of developments within 12 months. It seems both leaders are pulling out the big moves in a desperate election battle to win housing affordability. In September of 2024, both the Greens and the Coalition blocked Labor's build-to-rent legislation, which aimed to attract overseas investors into the Australian housing market, and was expected to create an extra 150,000 rental homes. The Greens saw it as a tax benefit for developers, and the Coalition criticised it as a foreign investment policy. Ultimately, however, the Greens waived the proposal through Parliament, and it passed in November after months of delays. The government also passed the Help to Buy scheme at the same time, which also saw eventual support from the Greens, proving how quicker solutions can arrive when the parties work together. Minister for Housing Claire O'Neil said in November that she was glad the Greens have finally seen the light, and added that the housing crisis has been building for more than 30 years and requires our government to do things differently. And this seems to be the key. There is clearly not a singular or simple answer to the problem our country faces, but it certainly isn't helped by bickering between the parties, or costly delays in an effort to push them to go further, as argued by Greens leader Adam Bandt. Now it appears the housing crisis might just make or break the upcoming federal election for our leaders, much like it did 3 years ago, and we might see history repeat itself. Labor's gutsy promise to reform negative gearing back in 2019 arguably causing them the election. What should be avoided by all parties, however, is using an issue that affects millions of Australians for political gain. Also dangerous would be an oversimplification. Whilst the Labor Party's focus on supply above all else is certainly on the right track, ignoring other contributing factors would be just as misguided, and would continue to fuel the opposition's constant barrage against the Labor government. The fix then begins with addressing the issue head on, and not becoming distracted with petty disagreement or political rivalries.